All right, hello. This video is to review getting ready for the quiz today. So we're going to take a quiz on chapter 3. And then if you have any extra time after the quiz, I would work on that validation program that we started the other day. If you didn't get it already done, get it done and turn it in Google Drive. And then as always, the chapter 3 programs are out there and you can be working on those if you have extra time. So we're just going to review some stuff in this video. I would have out a notebook. I would do the questions, right? Before watching the solutions on this video, make sure you try them. It's going to be much more meaningful and much better for you getting ready for the quiz. All right, so here is the first question for you. They're kind of true-false statement questions about if. I guess the third one's multiple choice, but pause the video, give these a shot before watching. I did put one little note to remind myself here. Last day for AP test registration is the 26th. So if you're doing it, make sure you get signed up. I think you just got a paragraph track. All right, pause the video, try these three before continuing. Okay, so for an if statement, they don't have to have an else part, right? You might just have like, if this thing is true, do something special. Otherwise, we're going to skip over that part of the code. So certainly that happens in certain programs, right? Like think of talking in a video game or something. You say if they want to continue talking, then display the next message. Otherwise, you just don't do anything. You just go on with your code. All right. Every if statement must evaluate to true or false. That is true. Like when you do the if, inside of here has to be some sort of condition that is either true or false. All right. So we want to check if we're at least 20. So that means we can be 20 or more. Right? So this one would be greater than 20, but wouldn't include 20. I think this one is right. That one is greater than or equal to 20. That'd be good. And then this one is if we're not less than 20, then we would be greater than or equal to 20. I think, which is either the wrong way. Okay, so this one would actually work okay too. So the one that's wrong would be this one. So sorry, I kind of circled the wrong one. This would actually work. If we're not less than 20, that would be greater than equal to 20, would be at least 20. So sorry, these two are the right ones, and then the one that is incorrect way is that one right there. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, so here's one. The user's going to input 300. What's going to happen in this code? And I didn't get it all up there, so I'll have to write it on here that they're entering 300. Okay, so what would happen in this code? Pause the video and give it a shot. All right, so in the beginning, we make a bucket for X and Y, and I would just go line by line and see what happens. Okay, so originally, X is 0 and Y has no value. You make the scanner, enter a number, Y gets whatever they enter, which is this 300. If Y is greater than 300, which it isn't, right? 300 is not greater than 300, so this doesn't run, and then the else will, and that'll just set X to be 0, which pretty much already was 0. So we're just going to system out that print X is 0. So it would be X colon 0 is what's going to be printed out by this statement. All right, this one's kind of, this code is fine and it works and it's valid and there's no like logical errors or anything, but I think there's something that doesn't make a ton of sense to me in this one. So pause the video, see if you can figure it out. All right, so the thing here is we're doing counter plus plus, whether or not mod 10 equals 0 or not, right? So if we were doing it either in the if or the else, basically we want to do it all the time, then it would make more sense to not have it be part of the if, right? It's not really something that depends on the condition being true. We do it all the time. So that line would make sense to just do once and then do it outside of the if or else because we're doing it all the time, right? So that's just something that logically I think it makes more sense to put it down here. Not a correct comparisons. Or I'm not sure. There might be more than one right answer in this. I don't really remember. So pause the video, give it a shot. All right, so we want to know which ones are not. So this one is okay because we are greater than or equal to. This one says equal to or less than, so that's not valid. right? The inequality sign needs to go first, then the equal to. Not equal to 17, that's okay. Less than 12 is okay. And then not greater than 88. This one is also no good, right? And basically, if you want to do not greater than 88, then you should just do less than or equal to 88. That's the same thing as not greater. The other way you can do it is if you want to put the not on the outside, you do if not, x greater than 88, right? That would work. So that would say not greater than 88. But realistically, less than or equal to 88 is probably the best way to do that. So the ones that are not valid are B and E in this one. All right. So this is true. My jokes keep getting funnier and funnier. So I want some more money from Mr. Paris. Right? I feel like I deserve lots of money for the funny jokes. So I'm going to do a scanner, and then I'm going to say, hey, who are you? And scan.next. I want to check if the name is Paris, then I want to ask them, can I have a raise? So pause the video. This one is the most commonly missed thing on this quiz. So pause the video, see if you remember how to do this. All right. So the wrong thing to do is this, right? Students oftentimes want to use the equal to Paris, right? But for strings, you don't use equal, right? That is what you do for primitives, right? So this is not correct. So the way you do it for the reference or object type is you do dot. So we're going to do this, the name variable dot equals, right? And then inside of here, you want to say, what is it equal to? And there you put Paris as a string in double quotes. So basically, we want to say if name dot equals Paris, then we ask for a raise. Okay, don't use the double equals. That is not how it works with reference type variables. All right, so this one would be a good one just to kind of sketch out what this is going to look like, right? So you can read over this, pause the video, and give it a shot. Okay, so we're imagining this is like the end of a video game, and we're going to tell them how well they did. So we have the points thing. So if points equals 4, then we're going to system out print whatever it says, master. You're the master of the game. And then we're going to do actually 4 different branches. So remember, an if is just like a branch, and this one actually has 4 different paths, right, based on whether or not they have 1, 2, 3, or 4. Right, so I'm going to have to do a big else if here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this to fit. So maybe we'll put it over here. So I'm going to do if and then else if points equals 3. System out print. Great. Okay, else if points equal 2. System out print average. And then, so how you do the end of this could be debated. So assuming that they can only answer 1, 2, 3, or 4, we could just do an else at this point of failure, right? But the problem with this is we're not sure. If we're not really controlling what the user enters, they could enter a 5, which would actually return failure. All right, so I think a better way to handle this actually, if I was coding this in real life, sorry, I don't have enough space here, is I would actually do an else if points equals 1, then say failure, and then I'd put an else, which basically they must have entered something that they shouldn't have, right? If it should have been 1 through 4, but somehow our program generated a number that's not 1 through 4, right? Maybe our game programming logic was wrong or something. I know in this one they're just entering it, but maybe we programmed something wrong in our logic. So we could print out something like error, right? So just to say that this didn't work the way it should have worked, right? That's probably how I would handle it in real life. Is I would make sure that the else just caught any other thing that could possibly happen, which in this case is we just want to report that there's an error. Not necessarily wrong if you did it else system out print failure. That would be okay. I'd take it on the test or the quiz, but this to me would be the best answer. All right, I hope you can see this. Sorry, I tried to take these from the website, and so it's really little. So hopefully you can see these. Yeah, pause the video, give it a shot. All right, so we're assuming that x and y have already been created. Same with, well, I guess we're creating result there in the beginning. So I want to draw this in little buckets, right? We know that the x bucket has been created, the y bucket has been created, and then we've got one called the result, which holds a string, which is blank in the beginning. All right, and so we want to know what is the result after the code segment is executed if x has 15 originally and y has value of 5. So we're just going to walk through here and say, so if x is less than 5, which it's not, so it's not going to run any of this in here, right? Because x is not less than 5, it's 15. If x is greater than 10, which it is, we're going to run in here. So now we are inside of that. Okay, and then we say inside of there, if y is less than 0, which it's not, so this doesn't run, else if y is less than 10, which it is. Okay, so this is going to run. So we're going to add to result d. The result is now just the letter d. All right, and then this runs. So after this if else if, this line runs because it's part of the bigger else if here, and it runs regardless of any condition as long as we enter into this else if. Right, so now we're going to add an e on the end, and then same thing here, this runs no matter what. It's not part of this big conditional, the outside conditional, so it's just going to run no matter what. So at the end, result is going to be DEF, and that would be our answer to this question. Okay, again, we're assuming ABC and low have been properly declared and initialized. All right, so pause the video and give this one a shot. All right, the code segment below is intended to print the sum of the greatest of the two of the three values, but does not work in some cases. All right, so it looks like it's saying if A is bigger than B and B is bigger than C, then the C must be the lowest, right? And then if A is bigger than B and C is bigger than B, then B is the lowest. Otherwise, A is the lowest, right? And then we are going to print out the greatest of these two. So basically, they're adding them all together and then taking away the lowest, and that'll print out the greatest two. Okay, so the reason why I think this doesn't work is if you have, sometimes they're equal, right? So like, maybe let's try an example here and see if we can make sense of this. So like this case, C is the lowest, right? But we could imagine a scenario where C wasn't the lowest. Let's say it's 10 and A and B were equal. So what would happen here is, no, we want C to be the lowest. So let's do C of 2 maybe. Okay, so we would say, is A greater than B? No, it's not, right? So basically C, we can see C is the lowest, but it fails because A is not greater than B, right? B is greater than C, right? And we're sort of trying to use the transitive property to say then by default, A must be greater than C, but it doesn't work because of that, the fact that A and B are equal. So I think this would probably work if we added equal to's, like greater than or equal to's in these. I think that would be valid code, and then we would always get the right lowest to subtract off here. So that's kind of a tricky one. That's kind of like a sample AP question, but I think the answer is when does it not print correctly? And that's when you have A and B values that are equal to each other. All right, that is it. Hopefully that helped with the quiz. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is to review, sorry for the quiz. And hopefully the quiz goes well. All right, thank you.